Hello, good morning friends. Today we learn about the ecosystem, structure and function. The ecosystem, this is the functional unit of the biosphere. The biosphere, all the ecosystems of the planet put together to form the biosphere. The biosphere, this is the living sphere. What is ecosystem? All living organisms and the non-living environment in a certain geographical location is called as ecosystem. In other words, an ecosystem is made up of biotic as well as abiotic factors. This is the aquatic environment, this is the artificial or the terrestrial environment. The example of ecosystems are the pond, forest, estuary, grassland. These are the major examples of the ecosystem. The ecosystem is made up from the two components, that is the biotic component or the biotic factors, which are also called as the living components, and another is the abiotic or non-living component. The biotic factors are nothing but the plants, animals and the microorganisms, and also the scavengers. The abiotic factors affect the living organisms in an ecosystem. The fires destroy the forest but can sometimes help a forest community by allowing a new organism to thrive. Early or unexpected forest can kill the plants and entire food chain. Wind can affect the way an organism grows, that is the wind. Because of the wind, this plant grows on the, they can change their direction. Now next component, abiotic factor or the non-living factor. The non-living factors are the physical environment, that is the water, light, then wind, then solar or the sunlight. These are the abiotic environment. Then biotic factors affect the abiotic factor in the ecosystem. The lichens on the rock help break them down into the soil. The lichens are made up of algae and fungi. The dead organisms and animal waste contribute to the soil nutrients with the help of decomposers. The ecosystem runs or the functional components of the biotic factors or the biotic components. These are the we early know that the plants, animals and decomposers. These components, they are arranged according to their feeding habit or who made the food. The plants, these are the autotrophs because they can prepare their own food, so they are called autotrophs. And these plants, they are consumed by the animals. First, the animals consume the plants, which is called as the primary consumers. That is, the organism that eat the plants are called as primary consumers. The primary consumers are herbivores, they only eat the plant material. So the primary consumers are right above the plants in any food chain. These are the example of the primary consumer, that is the insect, then this is the cattle, then deer. These are the primary consumers, they can eat the plant material. Then secondary, tertiary or quaternary consumers. These secondary, tertiary or quaternary consumers, these are the carnivores or omnivores. They can eat the primary consumer or the herbivore. That is the secondary consumer are those that eat the primary consumers. Then the primary consumers are eaten by the secondary consumers. The secondary consumers are eaten by the tertiary consumer, and so on. These consumers are either carnivores, sometimes insectivores like this, or egg eaters like this, or omnivores. That is, they can eat the both types of, that is the, they can play both roles, that is the herbivore and carnivore. This is called as omnivore. Then scavengers. The scavengers, these are nothing but the animals that do not kill for a meal but pick on leftovers from other animals. Examples are the hyenas, vultures, crows, raccoons, and some bears are the scavengers, which are also called as the cleaners of the earth, because they can clean the leftover puddle, and because of this, we are called as the cleaners, and because of this, the earth will be clean. The next, decomposers. After the dead or after the death of the plant and animals, their body will be decomposed by the another organism, which are called as decomposers. Decomposers or detritivores are organisms that degrade or decompose the dead or organic material in simpler molecules. These are the fungi, bacteria, and decomposers. These are the decomposers. This is the fungi, and this is the bacteria. In the ecosystem, for the running of the ecosystem, energy will be needed, and this energy is come from the sun. Firstly, the plant material, they can trap the sun rays or the radiant energy, and they can prepare the food. And from this plant, the food will be transferred to the herbivore, and from the herbivore to the carnivore, and carnivore to the top carnivore. And on this transaction or energy transformation, about 90% energy will be lost in the form of heat, and only 10% energy will be transferred from one trophic level to the another trophic level. And in this transformation of the energy, the animals, they can make a chain, or the energy will be transferred in a chain, and so this transfer of energy is in the form of food. So they can make the food chain, and these food chains, in the food chain, the food chain is described as a single pathway that energy and nutrients may follow in an ecosystem. There is one organism per trophic level, and trophic levels are therefore easily defined. They usually start with a primary producer and end with a top predator. Here is an example of a food chain: phytoplankton, then zooplankton, then fishes, then squid, seal, and lastly the orca, that is the killer whale. This is a simple example of the cold desert boom of the ecosystem. The food chain always starts with the producers, the plant, algae, certain types of bacteria called cyanobacteria are producers. Producers are used radiant energy, that is the sunlight, to synthesize the chemical energy. In other words, the plants perform a complex set of chemical reaction called photosynthesis. Producers are also called autotrophs, which means self-feeders, because they make their own food. Then in ecosystem, these food chains, there are many types of food chains, and these food chains, they are intermingled with each other, that is, they are intercrossed with each other or intersect, and they can make a food web or a net. A combination of the different food chains is called as a food web. Thank you.